Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and our chance to revisit Skull and Bones, one of the most controversial games released this year. Why is it controversial? Well, because the CEO of Ubisoft called it the first Quadruple A game, and it took some 11 years to develop, and it was compared to the legendary Assassin's Creed Black Flag released in 2013, and it was expensive at $70, and this and that, and it seemed almost everyone who played the game or observed the game had some sort of issue with it. Now, I pre-ordered Skull and Bones. I started playing it on the night of its early release, and after over 200 hours of gameplay, I think I qualify as a person with an expert opinion on the game. So let's look at the bad and the good of Skull and Bones and see if the game is truly worth it. I like my bad news first, so let's start there. 1. It was expensive. There are microtransactions for cosmetic stuff and seasonal passes. It's Ubisoft, kind of par for the course. 2. The crashing. Yes, I have disconnected from the game multiple times. I know, it's the life of a gamer, right? 3. It is basically a tanking game. There is no hand-to-hand combat, even when boarding another ship, so part of the pirate experience is missing. Basically, you're just sailing around, unless you're on an island or a port, picking up missions, getting supplies, and things like that. 4. It does not improve on the experience of Black Flag significantly, which is considered the standard for pirate video games. That doesn't mean it's not fun, it just does not do anything revolutionary. 5. The low population. Now, I don't have any numbers research to back this up, but what I can tell you is this, my experience, as someone who regularly streams his gameplay. The days when I run into more than 1 or 2 other real-world players is rare. This takes away a lot of what the game offers because there's so much that most players cannot just solo on their own. World events, PvP, helm wagers, larger fort plundering, boss battles like the new La Peste mission, etc. And this devolves the game into a one-player kind of grind where you do a minor, small-time contract that becomes so repetitive that you begin to lose interest. Number 6. The world events are not incentivized to play. The rewards are not that big. In fact, they're downright disappointing, and you can get many of the same rewards by just playing the ordinary missions. So why spend your time or your resources on something with very little return on your investment? Number 7. The culture war. What game isn't caught in the culture war these days, right? Yes, there is a 50-50 representation of men and women in the game, which puts off some players. Not me, but some. And for a counter-argument, see my video on the most famous female pirates in history linked in the description. Number 8. And finally, and most importantly, the user experience. Yes, patch 1.5 fixed a lot of distracting graphics and notifications in the game, but there are things that are still nagging, at least for me. The 2 that drive me nuts is the way in which you pick up loot. When you sink a ship, you need to be in a certain area, facing a certain way to pick up your loot. Otherwise, you end up having to stop your ship, turn around, backtrack where you came from just to get your rewards, when you may be in a hurry to get somewhere or to finish what you're doing before logging off. We all have other lives, right? So anything that can save some time is a good thing. The other is the stamina bar. And no, the ships themselves don't get tired like some YouTubers pointed out. Your crew does. Sailing can be physically draining, but the stamina bar depletes so rapidly when trimming to max speed that I find myself spending 50% of my time feeding my crew. In essence, I become a buffet manager instead of a pirate kingpin. If they could just tweak that a little bit, it would go a long way, at least in my opinion. Now for the good. 1. It's a fun game. I wouldn't play it if it wasn't fun. I don't have the time to waste on things that are not fun. At least, fun for me. Finding yourself up against 6 to 8 warships and brigantines in a desperate battle to get to your helm destination, or taking on a sea monster north of the Red Isle, they've been fun for me. They're fun missions. 2. The population seems to be growing. In the last couple of weeks, I have noticed more and more people playing the game, more and more groups teaming up to take on larger missions, so maybe the game is gaining its sea legs. 3. Despite the microtransactions, I have not spent any more money than I did when purchasing the game. Who can complain about that? 4. I love the mechanics of the game in terms of the sailing, navigating stormy seas, rogue waves, the fast travel options, and the helm is a definite plus. The helm is basically your ability to build an empire of alcohol and narcotic manufacturing ports to earn pieces of 8, which get you other rewards in the game. So it's just an added level and bonus to the gameplay and the content already there. 5. The customization. There's so much of it that I still have not been able to go through it all. As well, the amount of ships available to build with the various configurations of weapons to arm it with, along with other modifiers, you can constantly look for the best build for whatever activity you're sailing into. 6. The community. The people who do play the game are very personal. It's a polite and helpful community, and I've yet to encounter anything remotely toxic in terms of messages, gameplay. In a world of video games filled with communities that are short-tempered, a casual player like myself can definitely appreciate that. 7. Ubisoft has been attentive to issues with the game and are actively working on it. They are constantly putting out patches to fix things like bugs and little glitches, and I can appreciate that. 8. Content keeps rolling out, and keeping the game fresh with something new to do almost every couple of weeks keeps players like me coming back. So is Skull and Bones a quadruple A game? No, it's not. I don't think there is a quadruple A game that I'm aware of that's out there these days, and if there is, let me know in the comment section below what you think is a quadruple A game. But is Skull and Bones a fun game with a ton of potential? Yeah, I think it is. So I'm going to keep playing, and I'll keep streaming, and I will continue to bring you the good and the bad of this game. But that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you play Skull and Bones? Do you have similar complaints? Would you recommend the game to another person? And with that, thank you for listening, and I'm still your reluctant gringo, and from south of the border, salud and a huevo.